In today's video, I want to go through how you can hide bricks elements inside your pages and your bricks templates using the has blocks function. Now, if we jump over to the WordPress docs, we can get a bit of information about how this function works and what it does. So the first thing is what it does determines whether a post or content string has blocks. So if I go and have a look at this blog post here and we go up here, when we add content into Gutenberg, they're known as blocks. And if we click there, paragraph, all of these are under the tab of blocks. You probably already know that. So what this is doing and the way that we can use it, because has blocks, the one parameter that this function has default to the global post, the current post, we can actually use this to check whether or not the current post is using Gutenberg for its content. And I'm going to show you an example of where this actually applies when you're building your websites and your pages using Bricks Builder. So jumping back into Bricks Builder, let's pretend we're going out and we're trying to design our pages. So I'm going to create a bricks template for my pages. So here under bricks and templates, I'm going to go add new, and I'm going to call this single, and it's going to be the default for pages. And then over here, the template type, we're going to select single, and we're going to publish. Then I'll go edit with bricks so I can start designing this bricks template. So now let's go ahead and add our post content element. So post content, so there it is. So I'm going to add that in there. And then here I'm going to set its data source to be bricks, because this is probably what most people watching today's video are using. You're using bricks as the page builder to design the content area of your pages. So the parts between your header and your footer. So let's go ahead, and with that done, let's go to settings, and then we'll go to template settings and conditions, and we'll add a condition for this template to apply where the post type is equal to page. So all of our pages. So I'll go save. Now, if I go and view my homepage, there's nothing there because I haven't added the content for my homepage using Bricks Builder. So for this, I'm going to go edit with bricks up here. And now we just need to design the content area of our homepage using Bricks Builder. Now, I've just gone ahead and saved my homepage as a template just to save time today in today's video. So I'm going to load that template in here. So I'll just go templates, and here it is there. So I'm going to insert this template, which is just a saved design. And there's my homepage design, like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to save this now. And now if we preview our homepage on the front end, it's looking exactly how we would imagine it. So we have our header up here, and then our template's applying. And our template, we know, is outputting here the post content data source bricks. So everything that we designed just now for our homepage inside of Bricks Builder is output here, and then we reach our footer. So that's looking good. But now, what if we actually want to use Gutenberg to design some of our pages? So I actually do this in my own website. If we go to my website now, my homepage, I designed the content area using Bricks Builder. I wanted to have more flexibility with the design. If I go to something like my About page, this is really just me writing. So I just wanted to go into Gutenberg and just be able to write it like a blog post, but still have it be the page post type. So if I go edit page, you can see all the content here is written in Gutenberg. If I go to tools, it's using Gutenberg as well. So for that one post type page, I actually wanted to be able to design it using Bricks Builder and have that flexibility. Or if I don't want to do that and I just want to get something up quickly using Gutenberg, I want to have that option. So let's go ahead and set that up. So if I go back here, we have our post content. I'm going to rename this to bricks. But now let's go ahead and design it for when we're using Gutenberg. So if I go back to my live website, we have a section here, and then we have the page title there. And then under that, we have Gutenberg content in a column that's a fixed width that just runs down the page. So let's go ahead and set exactly that up. So coming back here, we're going to add a section. So we'll add that in there. I'm going to call this page title. And then we have our container. So in here, let's go ahead and we could add a post title. I'm just in the habit of adding a heading. And we're going to make that a H1. And then I'm going to remove that and set that to be the post title. Then we're going to give it the blue background. So I'll go back up to here, style, background, and then here I'll just select the blue color. And now that's looking how we want it to look. Now we probably want to adjust the size of the font here. So I'll just quickly do that. I don't want to spend too much time on this. So let's just go ahead and I'm just going to set this here. This is the Oxyprops CSS framework. It gives you this panel here. It's not really related to today's video though. I will make separate videos on that. So now let's go ahead and add another section for the Gutenberg content. So I'll go up to here, we'll add the section. I'm going to call this Gutenberg content. And then in this container, let's go up and add a post content element, which is here. And then I'm going to call this Gutenberg. And then let's go to content and keep its data source as WordPress. So it's by default. You can do that as well if you want. Sometimes I'd prefer to do that just to make sure that it is like that. So with that done, we now have two different post content elements on the page. This one up here for Bricks content, there's no parent container, so it can stretch the full width of the page. And then when we're going and using Gutenberg, it's going to sit in a container here and be this width. We could change its width if we wanted to. We could give it a max width down here, just quickly, something like 800 pixels. And then we could center it on the page, like down there. But it's not really related to the point I'm trying to make in today's video. So let's go ahead and save that. And if we go back and reload our homepage, so our homepage is looking good, like that. But then down here, we can see that it's outputting the title and it has spacing down here. And if we have a look at what's going on at the code, it's outputting an empty section. So we have, if we have a look, so this is the section where our Bricks content gets output over here. So they're all the different sections that we build inside Bricks Builder for our homepage. Then under that, we have this section here, which is outputting the page title for Gutenberg. And then under that section, we have another section, which is where the WordPress content would go if we're using Gutenberg. But then inside here, it's just an empty div. So what's happening is because we're not using Gutenberg to design that page, this isn't outputting on the page, this element, but the parent containers are. This, which has padding, if we go and have a look, there's padding set here from our global styles. And then the container is also getting output, but then this isn't getting output because we don't have any content in Gutenberg. And Bricks is smart enough to know if there's no content in Gutenberg, don't output this, and vice versa. If we design our page only using Gutenberg, then up here, this post content element with its data source set to Bricks, this won't output on the page. So Bricks is doing a lot of the job for us and only outputting the correct post content module, but it's not handling its parents. And that's what we're doing today in today's video. We're going to use the hasBlocks function to be able to output only these when we're using Gutenberg content. So let's go back and we have our homepage here where we're using Bricks Builder and it's incorrectly outputting Gutenberg. Let's go ahead and now create a page where we do the opposite and we use Gutenberg and not Bricks. And then we'll go in and fix up our design using the hasBlocks function. So let's go new and I'll go page. And then here I'll call this terms and conditions, something like that. And I'll just paste some lorem ipsum in there. So I'm going to publish this. And then let's go and view this on the front end. So I'll just open this up. So this is what it looks like on the front end. So as we can see here, when we're only using Gutenberg for a page, everything's good. So it's really only back here. It's really only when we're using Bricks Builder and not Gutenberg for a page that we have an issue. So let's go ahead and fix that. So back in here, we know that this doesn't get output if we've built our page using Bricks Builder, which is what we're doing with the home page. So let's go ahead and hide these if we're using Bricks. And we can do that by clicking on this and going up to conditions and then adding a condition. And here we'll go down to dynamic data and we're going to use the echo feature inside of Bricks Builder. And we're going to write has_blocks. And then we'll set this to equals and true. And we'll just repeat the process for this page title. So I'll copy this, we'll go up to there and we'll add a condition. And here we'll go to dynamic data. If hasBlocks equals true. So what we've just done is both of these elements here will only output on the page if hasBlocks equals true. And hasBlocks, we know that is only true if the current post or page has content inside of Gutenberg. It has a block that exists in Gutenberg. So if we're only going out and using Bricks to design our content area and there's no blocks in Gutenberg, which is the case for our homepage, then this would be false, this condition. So this would not show on the page. And that's the same for this down there. So let's go ahead and save that. And then we'll go back to our home page and it's just auto reloaded for us. And you can see now those two elements that were incorrectly outputting are not outputting on the page, because again, there's no blocks. If we go here, edit page for our home page, there's no Gutenberg blocks here. So has blocks is false, which means these two elements don't output because of the condition that we set here. Now, there's actually another way that you could go out and use has blocks in your Bricks Builder designs to do some things that are a little bit more complex. So here on my website, this is a blog post. So the post type is post and it's a single template. And if I go down just a little bit, I have table of contents here. Now I've gone ahead and this is a custom Gutenberg block that I created myself. And so if I go edit post and go down a little bit, you can see there it is there. So the way that I add this to my page, because it's a block, let's just say I'm writing my blog post, I would come into here and I would go TOC and then I would add my Gutenberg block and there it is in my page. Now, if I get out of this, because I don't want to save that, don't want to make any mistakes on my live website. So when a table exists here, I want to show this button that's fixed at the bottom, which if I click on this, it takes the user back to the table of contents block. But if I don't add a table of contents block to my content, I don't want to output this button. And so an example of that, if I go to articles and we just find a short blog post like this, add offset to smooth scroll in bricks. If I click on this, if I go down, this is a very short article. So there's no point in me outputting a table of contents here. And so when there's no table of contents Gutenberg block, I don't output that button. So let's go and have a look at how I've set that up. So here under bricks and then templates, if we go down and find that template, it is this one here. So if I go edit with bricks, this is what it looks like. And I'll just move myself over here quickly. And I'm going to clap some of this just so we can see what's going on. So you can see I have my hero section up here, which outputs a bit of post meta, my blog post title. And if we open up the content area, you can see I have my related post section, my comments area, and then my table of contents. Now the table of contents button itself is just a bricks button element. That's all it is. And if we have a look, if I pull that over, and if we have a look here, it's just anchored to my element on the page with its HTML ID of TOC. And Bricks automatically has a built-in function where you click this button and it scrolls to whatever element on the page has this HTML ID. That's just out of the box Bricks. But if we have a look here, the button is contained in this block element. And if I click here, you can see there's conditions. If I click this to open up the conditions, we can see that the condition for this block to show is based on this has block. So before, where we were using has underscore blocks, and we were just looking for whether or not Gutenberg had any block in its content, now we're looking using has, doesn't undo here. Bricks has a little bit of a glitch. I'm just going to reload the page. Now I'm looking in particular for that single block that is my table of contents. And now if the post that's trying to be rendered with this template has this particular table of contents block in its content, then it would equal true, and then that button shows. But if I haven't added that block into Gutenberg, then this would be false and the button doesn't output. So if this looks like something you might want to implement into your website that's going to make managing your website easier, then I would definitely recommend going and checking out the related blog post, which is today's video in a written form. It's maybe easier to follow along. It's a little bit slower. Here it is here. I'm going to leave a link to it in the description below. And a blog post related to what we went through in today's video is this one here, how to set a Bricks template using PHP. We discuss a PHP filter that Bricks Builder uses when it's going through and trying to decide which template to use to render your content in your website. So you can have a look at how the code works there. I go through it very in depth, but I think it's very interesting to know how Bricks uses its template scoring system, because it might spark a couple of ideas. You'll probably be able to get by just using what we looked at in today's video with has blocks. but this might open up some more possibilities based on, some more complex things that you want to do on your website. So I'm going to leave a link to both of those blog posts in the description below. Hope to see you in one of these videos that is on the screen right now.